I don't think anybody wants to, but the thing about it is just put that stretch of front, right? Either way, other than like pavement or.
Good evening. We're going to start the Dudley Conservation meeting tonight. It's December 8th. It's at 5:33. First on the agenda is roll call.
Nancy Vukovic.
George Slingo.
Fran Mikulajczyk.
Bob Tuttle.
Okay. And first on the agenda is a field change for Oxford Ave solar PV.
Hi, everyone. Rob Bukowski with Weston and Sampson. We're representing Navison, so you may recall this project, I think it was permitted a couple years ago. And my client is going to be doing the construction of it, hopefully starting this winter. And we have, I don't know if you have the materials in front of you. Okay, sorry, I came right from the field, so I didn't get a chance to put this on a board. But if you look at the western side of where the proposed solar array is, there's two basins. There's one on the northeast and one on the northwest and one on the southwest. This basin on the northwest, there's very little runoff that actually gets to it. So what we're proposing is to combine these two basins. We made this one on the south.
Watch out. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So we made the one on the southwest a little bit bigger, and what we propose is to put a swale in to collect any of the runoff that would come off of the northwest part of the site and direct everything down to the single basin. So what we've done is include all the runoff calculations comparing what was previously done and provided what we designed. One reminder on the plans that was done is we are going to have to do test pits before these basins are constructed. That was a condition of the previous approval.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Are there any abutters? Matt, do you have any questions?
No, actually, I'm looking at the plans in front of me again. I did review them. I don't have any issues with what they're proposing. If anything, what they're doing makes perfect sense.
Do you hear that?
Okay. So I want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we,
We'll close the public hearing.
okay, go ahead.
We'll close the public hearing at 5:35.
I make a motion that we grant the proposed redesign to combine the two stormwater basins for Oxford Avenue solar PV.
I'll second it.
A motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is notice of intent for the town of Dudley Water Sewer Department for the Pfas water treatment plant.
Is it helpful to put these on an easel?
Yeah, probably be.
I've got one too, but yeah. Why don't we start with one, I think, right?
Give this one down to them. I can share this one.
All right, thank you. Sorry for the little delay. So my name is Rick Hanavan. I'm an environmental scientist with Time Bond. I'm representing the water department. This application is for the construction of a PFAS drinking water plant and associated water mains work to connect drinking water sources in Dudley. This is proposed to be constructed at the existing water pumping facility at Pump Station 6.
Now, is that the one that's on New Boston Road?
That's correct.
Okay.
This is sort of an existing conditions and demo sheet C-101. So there is a driveway that crosses Potash Brook from the east to the west. And then there's a mowed lawn in the facility with Pump Station 6. That's the existing conditions if you're familiar with the site. There's another Pump Station 4, which is not operable at the moment, which is off the driveway as well. The hatch here shows portions of it shows the fence line in the existing pump station, and this is parts of the existing facility that's gonna get modified for the construction of the new facility. So basically, the real crux of the project is building a new water treatment plant behind the existing pump station building that's going to have active carbon water treatment for removing Pfas, which is a organic chemical contaminant from the water to meet state drinking water standards. We've been in front of you for some temporary treatment that's ongoing between mixing water from different sources and then a temporary system that's being built just north of this at a different site. This is the permanent solution for the water treatment. So the resource areas that do this work include, so Potash Brook kind of circles around the site. So there's a riverfront area, there's a buffer zone associated with that as well. There is a wetland fringe along the edge of the Potash Brook. Most of the work is occurring in existing cleared area here for the construction of the new building. So the existing facility has a fenced area around the pump station, but there's other lawn that's maintained around the site. So as I mentioned, there's the new building is proposed behind the existing pump station, which will remain in addition to other facilities that are meant for deliveries to the building. There's a concrete pad that allows for temporary placement of frac tanks to treat water when the active carbon is removed from the vessels, and maybe like a once a year time that these frac tanks would be placed to treat water at the site coming out of the frac tanks. And then you see there's several stormwater basins that are planted around, located around the new pavement and treat the stormwater coming off the site. We had submitted the stormwater plan that also went to the planning board. Planning board had a engineering review of that with some comments which we received and responded to. So that happened, I think, today, so we can get you the comments that we submitted to planning board. We'll copy this commission on that engineering town review and our response. So another significant component of the project is connecting the other sources of drinking water supply to the new treatment facility. So all the water, it's a central treatment plant, so there's connections of raw water mains, so untreated drinking water from the pump station 1, which is up by Merino Ponds, just down the road at West Main Street that way. And that's running mostly there's raw water mains and replacement drinking water mains that are running in streets, but there's some work that occurs for connections of water lines off this site through undeveloped properties to the north. I'll get to that. That shows that starts here, and then I can show you on a second sheet. So there's raw water and finished water and a sewer main that all come out of this facility to allow for the untreated water to come in and get treated, the treated water to go out, and also a small sewer line to allow for a bathroom to be in this new facility. So this is, also those plan sets are kind of split up into two. So this is plan set, project contract number 1 is the building. Number 2 is the water main work. This DWSRF acronym on here is the State Drinking Water Revolving Fund. So the town is asking for state funding to complete this work. So in that state funding also has some timetables associated with it, which is why there's some degree of urgency in our application. I will pull up a sheet that shows you I'm gonna hold it up, the proposed cross-country work. Note that we were working on a revision and that's still in progress. So.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yes.
George, is it all right if I ask a question?
Yes.
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 Okay. So, did you guys see the comments that DEP gave out this evening?
I have a copy if
Yes.
no one else does.
I printed a copy, it's attached to the forms. So DEP, that letter right there.
Hey, too, the picture on your iPad just went out.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
That better?
Yeah, much, thank you.
It has been assigned
Hi,
a
guys.
following number.
I'm at.
Hi, Matt.
Yeah, I've got the file number.
Okay.
I've got the summary on the file number. I was just wondering if the applicant wanted to take a quick minute just to address some of the comments. I mean, I personally have no problem with what they're planning. I'm very familiar with the site.
That's the comments.
I think they've done overall a good job on, balancing the proposed development. I don't have any issues. I do know that there's a potential to be some changes that might come up as a result of the MEPA review. So now that we have a file number, if you guys want to approve an order of conditions, there is a standard clause in the state's standard boilerplate that would require them to come back to amend the order if there's a major change. If there's a minor change, they could come back to review the change with you and you guys could ratify it as a field change.
We were,
I know there's a timing issue on the approval because of the grant monies involved.
Yep.
I have spoken with I spoke with the DEP agent at length this afternoon. He's also doing the MEPA review. I don't see anything major in what he's saying. He's just asking the commission to examine more alternatives, but considering the dynamics of the way this thing is operated, I think they've done a good job. So I don't know if the applicant wanted to address some of those comments, but that's my, 2 cents for what it's worth.
thank you. Yeah, I will. I guess it was taking me a minute to get this cross-country water main sheet up. And this, we only got the file number, whenever it was, like 3 o'clock or something, or even later today. So we were kind of counting on continuing because we didn't have the file number. I think we probably still want to because we're still working on some revisions in this section. Some of the comments are talking about like going through an individual parcel that was examined and that owner is not willing to allow that. So, one of the questions from the Central Region Reviewer was like looking at parcel 124042 on Fairview. That was considered, but is not an alternative at the moment because the owner is not willing to allow access, so that's one of the questions that's kind of a short answer. This alignment, there's, you know how well you can see it across the room, at the riverfront area from Potash Brook and where the submitted application is, we're in the outer 50 feet, but we have a pretty decent run in riverfront area through here, so that accounts for a pretty significant percentage of the total riverfront area. We're reviewing alternatives to shift out to reduce that number. We're not gonna be able to get the riverfront down to 0, but now about how we might slightly shift with the way the mains are moving from the treatment building here over to Fairview. So I guess one reason why we'd asked for a continuance is we're trying to balance the wetland impacts, the impacts to the properties, and even just slopes on this hillside to try to come up with the best fit for all those different factors. So like we think we can reduce the riverfront area, but we're still working on that.
Okay.
So that would lead me to the question then, if you guys are gonna continue, is there a timing issue with regard to available funds?
Yes. I'm gonna let Jeff speak to that.
Good evening. This is Jeff Faulkner, also from Ty and Bond, project manager, more technical, not so much the wetlands stuff. The SRF program has a requirement that in order for the town to take full advantage of the funding, including some what we call principal forgiveness, but essentially some grant money, the contractors need to be under contract by June 30th of this upcoming year. So 6.5 months from now. Sounds like a long time, but public projects need to go out to public bid. So our goal is to accomplish all the permitting aspects by the end of January. So I think there is likely a December meeting of yourselves and maybe even a January meeting that we're inclined to continue on to without having a problem with the funding source.
Okay.
Okay, that's excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, to the commission, if you guys, you know, I'm sorry if I interrupted your presentation, but I wanted to make sure that the timing issue was addressed right away, because he did have some comments. Again, I didn't have an issue with approval, but obviously it would be more appropriate if we could give it another meeting or two to do a continuance. And from what I'm looking at as far as what he's asking for questions, I don't see anything that's gonna take a long time or be any project killers here. So I thought you guys did a really nice job so far. You guys are doing real nice work.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you.
I'm very pleased with you. My compliments.
Appreciate that. I guess one other comment from the DEP reviewer was asking if we looked at HDD, which is horizontal directional drilling, so a potentially a lower impact to cross. There's the main stem of the Potash Brook flows around the building, sort of in a U shape to the south, but there's a section where high flows it sort of shortcuts and flows on the opposite side of the treatment building, which there needs to be a crossing of an intermittent stream in this general vicinity. The reviewer asked if we looked at a HDD, so it would be a way to get the pipes under the ground without an open cut. We don't think that we consider it. We specified that in other places, but given the width of that channel is maybe 5 feet or less, and that we would need 3 different pipe runs through it, we feel that, like in this case, an open cut, it's certainly easier to construct, but also that the conditions of the channel are not going to be too hard to restore once the pipes are placed and the area's refilled. We do call out an area here that is for stockpiling of the surface of the stream where it's excavated, so the bed material keep it apart so that you can rebuild the surface of the stream after the open cut. And there are also details in that plan set for water handling so that you're not, you know, if that stream is flowing when you're working, you're bypassing the flows around the excavation. So that, you know, as we respond on a potential revision, updating the stormwater plan to you, we can also basically summarize what I've just told you for the DP comments to make sure that,
Okay, so right now you're asking for a continuance to our next meeting, which is
January 19th.
January 19th?
okay, so there, I guess that was gonna be a question, so there is not a second December meeting?
No.
Okay. Is that, does that still work?
So we're just gonna continue the meeting,
Hey, somebody want to make a motion?
to continue the meeting?
Yep.
No public.
Yeah.
Huh?
To continue the public hearing.
Right.
I make a motion that we continue the public
Do
hearing.
you wanna ask the, sorry.
Any abutters have any questions at this point?
This is about the New Boston Road.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it started at 6, so, sorry.
Sorry,
My general question was.
Can you come
Come
up
to
here
the
and say your
table,
name?
please.
Sure, it's Peter Labby, and we own the property at 11 New Boston Road, and we were just curious if all this is gonna eventually get to sewer lines running down New Boston Road so that we could hook in. That's, I don't know if that's long-term or.
Yes. I can answer that after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not them, I can answer that.
Okay, thank you.
I think anything that I have right now that I need to look over,
Yep.
it's probably something I should just talk with them about. There is a continuance on this until
Yeah,
On the
public.
19th, yes.
January 19th.
Correct.
Yes.
So that's what that was my motion.
thank you.
Okay, a motion's been made.
Second it.
Motion's been made and second to continue this public hearing to January 19th. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And when you guys do any revisions, can you forward them directly to me as well as to the office?
Yes, yeah, we can do that.
And I'm always available for quick Zoom sessions if you guys ever have any questions or we need to make plans on the cuff.
Thank you. Yeah, that, appreciate the offer, and same if you've got questions that you wanna ask us about, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I apologize for not being physically here tonight. It's just that my today of all days, my furnace decided it was going to die. So I've had contractors in and out of here all day, fixing quotes,
What's that mean?
getting things ready, so.
It's all right for me. Good luck with your furnace.
I really don't know.
Hey, my brain, easy come, easy go.
Don't remember this.
Okay, next on the agenda is a Minius change request for 118 Klondike Road. Matt, have you seen this?
Which one is this, George?
118 Klondike Road.
118?
Yep.
Yeah, so essentially what you had at 118 Klondike Road was there was an order of conditions for that property for, doing work like for a garage and addition, and there was an actual hand sketch drawing that the applicant put in, and the DEP said, well, we understand what you want to do basically in the review, but the drawing isn't good enough, and they wanted an engineered drawing. So I worked with the engineering company that emailed that in. They did present the engineered drawing. I mean, the survey in the garage that they're adding is a little bit slightly different than what we originally considered, but it's nothing that would require refiling the whole thing. So what I'm asking you guys to do is if you could ratify approval of that, of the new plan. It's obviously a lot more specific and more along the lines with DEP wants, so I think the applicant would be in good shape.
Okay. Someone want to make a recommendation on that?
I make a motion that we approve the de minimis change request for 118 Klondike Road as presented.
I'll second it.
A motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the October 27th and November 17th meeting minutes.
I didn't print that out, so.
You didn't print that out? Okay, so we'll take care of that at the next meeting. A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
At
That's
5:58.